Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Britannica's webinar. Thank you for joining. Welcome again for those of you who just joined. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. Let's give a few more minutes while waiting for more people to join in. Okay, we got more people who have joined. Maybe let's wait for one more minute before we can get started. Welcome again for those who just joined. Good day to Joy, Kenneth. Thank you for the message. Good afternoon, friends. Brian. Thank you for joining. All right, I think we can get started. Thank you very much again for those of you who just joined. Welcome to the third Britannica webinar that we have ever conducted. Thank you so much. So I would like to welcome everyone to the sessions today. And so the session today is called Using AI Without Losing Pedagogical Control, a practical teaching workflow with Britannica Studio. So my name is Cristianto Gondohutomo. I'm the Customer Success Manager from Britannica Education Asia. My role is to support our existing customers to ensure they get the most value out of our products. And today I am not alone. I am accompanied by my co-host, Christopher. Christopher, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Christopher Fetwing, and I am Britannica Asia's Professional Learning Manager. I've come through various experiences in the Asian education sector, and I've landed here to help with product deployment, support, and most of all, supporting our clients and our teachers to do the best they can in an ever-changing and chaotic AI world.
Thank you, Christopher. And both of us will be your co-hosts for today's webinar. So I would like to remind you, so if you have any questions along the way during the webinar, you can actually enter your questions in the Q&A box. So if you hover over the your Zoom, you will be at the bottom. You will be able to see. You might be able to see the Q&A right away, but if not, just click on the three dots on the right side. More. If you click more, and then you will be able to find Q&A over there. So please feel free to use the Q&A to drop your questions to us. All right. So what will I take away from this webinar? What can you take away from this webinar? So there are three things, basically. So again, we're going to talk today about using AI without losing pedagogical control. You're going to get some practical teaching workflow with Britannica Studio. So there are three things here that you can actually expect to get from this webinar. The first one is a new mindset. So you will understand that your professional judgment is the most critical part of using AI. I'm going to repeat that again. Your professional judgment is the most critical part of using AI. And then second, you're going to get a new skill. So you will know a five-step workflow to keep you yourself in control. And then, of course, a new tool, and then you will see how Britannica Studio fits into the workflow to save your time safely. All right, so now and then we're going to go through, this is basically the agenda that we are going to go through today. And so we're going to talk about the Britannica background at the beginning, and then I'm going to share with you why this topic matters now, why having these conversations matters now. And then Christopher will be able to start talking about a teacher control workflow, and then also giving you a walkthrough of the Britannica Studio. And then both Christopher and I, we are going to respond to any questions that you might have during the audience Q&A. So now let's get started with the giving you a little bit of Britannica background. I believe maybe some of you have already known this already, but in case you're pretty new to the Britannica brand, so Britannica itself has been around for more than 250 years, and we have been in the business of providing factual informations. Of course, some of you have already heard of Encyclopedia Britannica before, and we have many years, hundreds of years of Encyclopedia Britannica, and then that's basically our strength. We have more than 200,000 verified media assets delivered in more than 80 different languages, reaching more than 150 million students globally. And we have a pretty high client retention rate as well. So that speaks for itself. And we deliver innovative solutions that enable educators and improve student outcomes. We are bringing together pedagogy, instructional design, world-class content, and technology to bring quality products for classroom, research, and professional learning. So before we get started, so we are wondering basically, like, how much do you trust AI outputs in the classroom? So on your screen, you should be able to see the poll. If you don't mind sharing what your answer during the poll on the poll. And the host, anytime it's ready for you to share the result, please feel free to share the result on the screen. I'm curious, how much do you trust AI outputs in the classroom? 0%, 30%, 70%, or 100%? So how much? So I got one person who actually responded in the chat window, 0%. So let's see. Are we ready to share the result? Okay. All right. So we got 30 to 70% of you basically. Oh, wait, sorry. We got a lot of people basically who answered 30%, and 70%. So it's actually quite divided. No one is really like 0 or 100 from the result of the poll, but this is good to know, uh, isn't it, Christopher? And then we can talk
Yep.
about, yeah, please feel free. You have
No, I
any
think
thoughts?
that's interesting. I'm surprised there was only 10%. I thought that would be a lot higher, but I'm also pleased that there was no 100%. That means we've got some building and we've got some good work we can do here today. So that's a very interesting spread and almost perfectly spread across the middle ground.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So why this conversations matters now? So this session is built around a very real question many teachers are asking right now. How do we use AI to save time without losing control over quality, accuracy, and good teaching practice? So the fact is AI is already being used by teachers. Some of you who joined this webinar, a lot of you probably have started using AI as well. However, confidence and consistency vary widely, and I think from the poll that we just had, that really says it all as well. There's a lot of percentage as well that says they only trust 30% of the output. Schools need clarity, not hype, and I think we all agree to this. The challenge is control, not adoption. So the challenge is how you as educators, you can still have control, and not just a matter of adopting AI. So this session is not about hype, trends, or clever prompts of AI. It's about teaching. And more specifically, it's about how teachers can use AI as a support, not a replacement, and still feel confident about what happens in the classroom. So the current reality in schools, in today's schools where AI is already present, some teachers are experimenting with AI openly. Others are trying quietly in their own time. Now, at the same time, we consistently hear concerns such as, I don't fully trust the output. I still have to fix everything. I'm what's appropriate to use with students. So this is aligned with back in January, we had a Britannica Day event in Bangkok around AI as well, and this is basically aligned with what we have been hearing with among the educators, among the attendees of the event last month. So the tensions is not about whether AI belongs in schools. The tension is again about control. Who is making the decisions and who is accountable for quality? And I think I'm pretty sure you will agree that the answer is should be you, should be the educators. Now, the real risk over here is the biggest risk with AI in education is not teachers using it. The real risk is when AI begins to drive pedagogy instead of supporting it. And I think you can agree to that. The real risk is when AI begins to drive pedagogy instead of supporting it. When outputs are used without verifications, without review, when speed is prioritized over accuracy, and when professional judgment is slowly replaced by convenience. So those are the biggest risks with AI in educations. Good teaching still requires expertise, context, and intentional decision making. And that should not disappear just because AI is available. And those expertise those of you who are here in this session today, you have a lot of those expertise, basically. You have a lot of, you should be able to still retain that control over AI. Now, I'm going to move on I'm going to pass this on to Christopher, who will be sharing with us a simple principle that helps to anchor everything that we're going to talk about today. Christopher, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much for that lovely setup and introduction. Um, what we're going to talk about today is putting pedagogy at the center. And I think I was told once that teaching and pedagogy is an art. And when I was told it by a former head teacher of mine, I'm not sure I understood it. And I don't think the comment has ever really been clearer to me than it is dealing with the AI world, is that teaching is an art form, and one size doesn't fit all. So this is there's a couple of simple structures. This is the structure, and then there's a workflow shortly after. And it's been very deliberately built that pedagogy and the art of teaching, which is where the information, the principles, the student focus, and the care, this is where they fall in, and they're in the middle. And round the outside are the other things. So the AI can assist. AI is assisting teachers, okay? But you notice the outflow. Pedagogy is going outward to AI, not AI going inwards. If we move to the right, AI supports preparation and drafting. But the key there is it's supporting, it's not taking over, it's not doing for. And again, the pedagogy, the teaching art is flowing outwards. Teachers remain accountable for quality. And in all our conversations, when we go to conferences, when we meet with people, the accountability is becoming a clearer and clearer issue. AI did it, therefore AI is to blame. And that's a very worrying precedent. Teachers are the skilled and knowledgeable individuals. They shouldn't be devolving their expertise and their skills to a computer data center 1,000 miles away. And lastly, teachers decide. Teachers are in control. We don't want to perpetuate any world or any scenario whereby computers and technology take control from the human touch and the human responsibility of teaching. If we could pop on to our next slide. And so here's my ideas. So where AI fits in the teaching cycle. Because teaching is a continuous cycle, whether it be in schools or whether it be in lifelong situations, it's always ongoing. And so these are our thoughts about where we can responsibly integrate AI into teaching. So planning and preparation is obviously one. It's a hugely time-consuming exercise. And there are clear ways that AI can reduce that burden and help teachers to be more efficient without taking over the dominion and taking over the responsibility. Drafting explanations and materials, doing the long form work of writing out, copy, pasting, making the materials. And you'll see later on in our demonstration of Britannica Studio where the hard work of making materials can be taken up by responsible AI. Generating questions. I don't know. I think as a former English and social studies teacher, generating questions, going through long texts, it can be a pain at best. It takes forever and it's maybe not exciting. But yeah, AI can support us here and supporting differentiation ideas. I think, and I consistently get told that one of the most exciting tools we have within Studio is the differentiation function, especially in the Asian market context where most classrooms are multi-language environments. A lot of students are working in second languages. The differentiation is absolutely vital, and being able to do it effectively and accurately is a massive resource in the classroom. So, here is my proposed five-step teaching cycle. And I've cycled this out in a few different scenarios and a few different contexts now, and it's been refined. But I think we might be close to the last point. Come and see our next webinar to see if I change it before then. So, planning, obviously, planning is the teacher. The teacher knows the curriculum, the teacher knows what has to be done, the teacher must plan. Generate. And here is where I would say this is where the AI can fall in here. So AI can generate ideas, it can generate some resources, materials, it can generate questions, and it can perhaps generate activities. But then in number three, we come to the most crucial part of generate, and that's the review. Teachers need to review and check whatever AI is doing. I'm sure any of you who use the big name open source AI brands will know that sometimes what you get can be a little off the piste and a little out of left field at points. It does still have issues discriminating between different forms of information, different levels, and it can be a bit tricky to do that trustworthy review process. Lastly, adapt. Teachers are in charge of their own classrooms, and teachers know their students best. And that's why teachers need to adapt whatever they get from AI, and they need to put it into terms that they think most appropriate for their context and their students. And after we do all that, the teachers then teach. AI can't teach, robots can't teach. That's always going to be a teacher's job. And I will always say that anyone who says otherwise is flat out wrong. The human part of this is always the most vital. So what we're going to do next is we're going to kind of break this down into slightly more detail and explain out my thoughts with a product demonstration of Generate in the middle. So could we see our next slide? Thank you. So step one, planning, teacher-led. So this comes down to three simple points. What students need to learn, the appropriate level and scope of what they should be learning, and the intended learning outcomes. Now, I think as most teachers, including myself, we have played with the big name, the big five AI tools. And each of these, there are problems. One specific point I've always found in this is that curriculums get updated, and AI doesn't always discriminate between versions. Sometimes it'll pull an out-of-date version. So teachers know what students need to learn. Level and scope, AI, its favorite thing is to information dump. It gives massive amounts of data. Our team had a conversation about this earlier in the week that sometimes the amount of data coming from AI is just overwhelming and it's not constructive to teaching. It doesn't understand the leveling and it doesn't understand the scope. And of course, AI, it's very tricky to give it the learning outcomes. What do you want the product to be? Because AI cannot test that. Teachers in classrooms are able to test learning outcomes and have they been matched by their students. Step two, and this is again where the AI assistant can come in. Lesson drafts. So obviously, yes, lesson planning, it's a laborious exercise, but it must be done. So it can help with drafting and coming up with different ideas. And so, yeah, of course, I'm not saying it's always bad. Yeah, sometimes AI can come up with some great outside ideas. Explanations and summaries. Summaries are one of the most important things that AI can do, and I will show you that in a minute. Taking information and making it manageable. When we control AI properly, explaining and summarizing to ensure that things can be done in an efficient manner is a vital tool. Reading passages. And I will show you this next. So yeah, everybody loves reading passages. Reading is fundamental to any educational process. But ensuring accuracy in reading passages can be tricky. For those teachers who are used to kind of the old style Oxford Reader, those big packs of 20 books, I mean, those were always trustworthy. But in this digital age, that kind of trust is becoming more and more tested. And finally, classroom questions. And this isn't just in a probing sense, this can also be in the formative and summative assessment sense. AI can help with this, and it is, when it's well managed, a good tool to help teacher productivity. And when it's anchored in trusted, curriculum relevant content, AI really can be an unstoppable tool. So now we're going to take a break from our 5 steps to show you the practicalities of step 2 within the context of Britannica Studio.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you.
All right.
And I am going to start sharing. Alrighty. Are we able to see the screen share, KG?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. So what you are looking at is the home landing page of Britannica Studio. And I think for Chris and myself, we've been working on this for months. I get very excited about it. It's starting to become a little bit like a child for me, because we're really proud of actually what this can do and what it means for AI in teaching. I had a conversation on LinkedIn the other day where I described this as no faff, no flower, straight to the point. And that's what it is. There's a lot of tools out there that are focused on the glitz, the next great trick or interesting fad that'll be around for 10 minutes. But when you look at Britannica Studio, it is deliberately simple and non-faffy. So, this starting point of our 6 tools, and later on in the webinar, we'll explain why this is starting point, not finishing point. This is our 6 tools at present, and they do exactly what it says on the tin. In the top left, we have Assess It, and surprise, surprise, that builds assessments. We have a vocabulary builder for constructing banks of vocabulary and tests and definitions. We have a passage builder, which can build reading materials and study resources from scratch using Britannica's resources. Summarize It, unsurprisingly, summarizes. Level It, if you're working in an ELL environment, this is going to be your favorite tool. This is differentiation at its very best. And finally, Build It, Teach It. So you can pull this into all 5 tools into a single workflow here and play with them, export them, and manage them from one single spot. So I'm going to do this demo slightly differently today. We're going to be doing shout outs to all our different friends and curriculum partners who have sent me bits of curriculum, bits of syllabus and classroom material to play with this in. So let's have a look into Assess It first. I'll show you what happens when we go in. So in your Assess It and with all tools, you choose your grade level. Here you can choose your number of questions. And then you choose whether you want to upload your own school resources, your own syllabus, your own created classroom content that you've been working from, or you want to use Britannica content. And it gives you some information here about text or Britannica. So I'm not going to run through that way. I am going to jump to my output history and show you one I previously manufactured. Where are we? The era of great powers. So this question and all of this material came from one of our partner schools here in Thailand. We had an in-person meeting with them, and they asked me to put all of this into it, and it gave us this. So what you can see here is a fairly long chunk of their own text here. And these boxes handle up to 5,000 words at a time at the moment. So you are able to put in very large amounts of text. And from that, it has produced 10 questions for us. We're working in grade 12 level, so they are pretty advanced. And for teachers who like to not have to work out the answers themselves, it gives you the answer key. But what's also very important in the modern teaching environment and the modern information age is it doesn't just give you the answer, it gives you a justification for the answer. So we all have kids in a class who like to ask why, as they should be, and this gives you a straight to the point as to what the why is. Many people ask us at the moment about the nature of just multiple choice, and we're excited to be able to share that 5 other question formats, including matching, long answer, short answer, will be coming to this tool in the very short term. So this is just the starting point. What you can also do is if you don't like what it's done the first time, you can hit the regenerate button at the bottom here, and then it gives you this easy toggle so you can jump between each version. The final thing to show you with this is the edit tool. And because we are all about teachers are in charge and humans aren't being replaced, teachers can always go in here, edit this, change the nature of an answer, make it more simple, make it more difficult, depending on what they want to do. So this is not the AI making the decision for the teacher. This is giving the teacher a resource that they are then in control of. Our next one, vocabulary builder. This is a fairly straightforward thing. If you're working in a multi-language environment or any type of introduction, this can be very important for you. We all know teaching vocabulary as a first point can be an important tool and a vital first step. So let me show you this. Oh, give me a list of words to introduce in middle school. So we're going for, let's go for 10. We're going grade 6, and we will generate it. So this is the other way. Rather than copying in, I've told it what I want. And it's now thinking. There we go. So it has built us a nice vocabulary bank. It has given us the part of speech. It has given us a definition. And it has given us an example sentence. I think we all know example sentences are often very important. It's also given us a matching quiz or test. So this is a nice, easy, free of charge homework exercise, or your classes run 5 minute short exercise, up to you. And because, as Chris said, we are Britannica, we are old, we like encyclopedias, it comes with a list of sources. So from any one of these sources, if you click on this, it will give you the Britannica School associated resource from which you can then undertake further study, further practice. Your ultra curious students can go through this and undertake their own work. It also gives you additional resources. These are external to Britannica, but they run through our vetting process. So these come from the world's best websites tool in Britannica School, and come with all the same curation and fact checking and validity checks that we run through any source within our database. So anything you do in here sits on top of Britannica and is fully trustworthy and usable in a classroom setting without any second thought. The next tool I'm going to show you is our passage builder. This is the most heavy tool. This pulls the most resources together, and therefore takes the longest. You can ask it for short passages or long passages. Some of us think the long can be quite long. I did a grade 12 long once, and I was reading for hours. But then this gives the teachers the dominion to choose what they want. But what I'm going to show you here is an excerpt from our good friends and partners in Nepal who were asking me to do a multitude of tests using the Nepali national curriculum in here. So if any of our friends from Nepal are here, this is a shout out to you. These are general learning outcomes pulled from the Nepali curriculum and tied to one of the Ministry of Education approved textbooks. So as you can see here, all I have done is copy and paste in what they gave me. And then Britannica Studio has used that and its knowledge from the Britannica database to construct what I think for grade 5 is a very comprehensive resource on Nepal civilization and history in Nepal. So this shows that even going into national curriculums, Britannica Studio is able to bridge the historic gap between paper, resources, curriculums, and syllabus and the Britannica database, making it accessible and instantly alignable to anything that you are teaching. And again, here it's given me the sources that it has pulled from, including one nice additional resource here. Summarize it, as again, it makes summaries nice and easy for everyone. One of our partners told me that this is the first tool they've seen that successfully exports a table in the correct format. Apparently, other AIs have a problem with it, but we seem to have it nice and easy. So you tell it your grade level, you can choose what format you want, and then again, you can upload your own school syllabus, school-based resources into here, or you can ask to make a Britannica one, and then it will build it for you. So we are going to jump to space science here. I'll show you a completed one. So this has given me a table. This request came from one of our partner schools in Thailand during a demonstration. So it's built a grade 12 table summarizing the key terminologies and details of space science. But to show you the regenerate function, I'm going to tell it I now want bullet points, and I'm going to ask it to regenerate. And there we go. So you can see there, it's regenerated it into a different form while keeping the same content. but it's also then giving me the toggle here so I can jump back and compare the versions in a single click nice and easily. What's also quite nice with its summary form is it pulls in some images from ImageQuest to back up summaries. So this can be very nice if you're building up presentations or working through this for classes to do their own PBL or IBL work. You get a nice image bank here. And always, here are the sources. Okay, as I said, my favorite tool here is Level It. And this is a shout out for any English teachers or teachers working in environments that are difficult in their differentiation. So, what you can do here, unlike the other tools, you can select up to 3 grade levels in a single go. And what that allows you to do, so if you're teaching grade 3 for the kids above, you can make an instantly differentiated above. For the kids below, you can make it instantly easier for them and export it all in a single go. So what you do have to do is you have to paste in your text here. And what I'm going to show you was my attempt to break it during the testing. If anyone here enjoys Shakespeare, this next part will be for you. Let me just re-put that down here. Off, off, off. 2, 3, 4. Generate. So during the testing, we were trying to push this as hard as we could. So I thought Shakespeare might be an obvious way to go. So Hamlet, my personal favorite, I copied a small excerpt into the box here in the original Shakespearean language. And then what I asked it to do is grade 2, 3, and 4 there. So you can see from the first sentence, Shakespearean language, not many people left understand and can read that. But here, it has taken it and made it into relatable and understandable language. So the ghost is just pretend or does not believe. We then go up in their imagination, does not think the ghost is real. And grade 4, again, just in our imagination, does not want to believe the strange sight. So you can see there from the Shakespearean language, it's coped very well to take it to understandable and manageable language for your students. And in any context, this is going to be vital. Our final tool is where everything can get pulled together. Build It, Teach It pools the 5 tools and puts them into a single workflow. So, marketing environment analysis. This came from one of our higher education partners in Malaysia. Shout out to our marketing department. Hopefully they understand this because I don't. So what you start with is the passage. So I've asked it for grade 12 and long, and you can see here it has produced a very substantial piece of work. And this is pulling all from Britannica sources. So you can see here 18 Britannica sources, further external ones as well. It's then built me a 20-question accompanying assessment, still fully editable for the teacher. It has given me 15 points of vocabulary to introduce or to support. And it's given me a summary to make it nice and easy. And the last point to show is the exportability, which goes with all our tools here. So at the moment, Microsoft Word, PDF, or straight to Google Drive, and you are able to turn on and off what you want, because presumably you don't want to give your students the answer key. So then as you export, all of this can go out to your easiest format, because we understand some schools, the best way still is working in paper. So we want to fully support that. But yeah, if you wanted to Drive or Google Classroom, you can go through this to support iPad learning. And that is how Britannica Studio works. So this is what we say is our support for teachers. There's no nonsense here. It's not doing any overly fancy tips and tricks. It is straight to teacher support, helping teachers to be efficient with high quality, gold standard information and resources. So with that, I am going to stop my share. We can jump back to the next slide of our workflow.
All right. Let me share back the screen. And there you go.
So, thank you very much, Chris. After you have gone through Britannica Studio, hopefully, actually, there shouldn't be too much review involved because it's sitting on top of Britannica's own database. It does not open source and never will. It pulls trusted quality content. But if you're in the world of the big five AI tools, yes, then the teacher is responsible to check the accuracy, ensure the clarity, and confirm alignment to learning goals. These are very important. AI still isn't perfect, it is developing quickly, but checking the accuracy and ensuring the information we give our students is our number one responsibility in the teaching profession. Ensuring clarity is important. I've had an experience this week where I asked AI to help me with something, and it came up with a piece of information I did not understand. And if I asked it and I did not understand, there's a good chance a student would never have understood it either. So ensuring it's clear and concise is vital. And yes, confirming alignment to learning goals. What I just showed you there with some of the curriculum parts in Britannica Studio is yes, we can align to learning goals and curriculums. Open sourced, not so much. They have trouble with it. They need to be taught what to do. We at Britannica are doing that. So trusted content reduces the risk, but not the responsibility. Ah, yes. And step four, adaptation. So we support the teachers with the likes of Britannica Studio with the resources, but the teaching expertise and the human knowledge of students will never be replaced. Supporting mixed ability classrooms, like I showed you with the Level It tool, this is what that's all about. Supporting mixed ability classrooms is really complicated, especially in Asia, where some classes run up to 50 students, and that's really tricky. So with this, we're supporting teachers to work efficiently and deliver for every child. Adjusting for language proficiency. Again, in our Britannica school, it's got language translation, but Britannica Studio is able to work across languages, and Level It does help with ensuring that students who are trying their best to learn in a second language are supported. And aligning with the local curriculum context. This is vital for us. We work in Asia, we work in 14 different markets with 14 different curriculums, plus the international curriculums on top. So we are all about Britannica Studio bridging that gap so it is easier for teachers to align with the high quality Britannica resources in their classroom and in their curriculum context. Teachers can professionalize the result and make it truly personal for their classroom and their students. And finally, teach. Nothing is ever going to take away human-centered learning, no matter what anyone says. Classroom interaction, discussion and questioning, doubt, clarification are all parts of the learning experience that teachers are vital in. Feedback and relationships, this cannot be replaced. When you arm a teacher with the top level of information and you free up their time with effective and straight to the point trustable resources, they get to spend more time on these three important areas. AI can create more time for teaching, but only when it's in a trustworthy environment that doesn't then cost the teacher more time and effort to review and check the trustworthiness and credibility of what they've created. With Britannica Studio, we are giving back teachers time. We are not detracting and adding to their workload in content verification and checks. So finally, from me, well, and I'll hand back to Chris, what this means for schools. Defining clear and teacher-led workflows. We can all, AI can give it suggestions and come up with great workflows and lesson plans on this, but actually defining teacher-led work and responsibilities in schools is not going to be going out of fashion. AI is not going to change, and it should not change, the teacher-led nature of education. In schools, they need to choose platforms built on trust, not just the newest tool, the newest trick, because it seems in the AI world, I read about a new tool or one of our business managers in a country tells me about something that I've not heard of every week. And that's not good. Things are coming onto the market faster than teachers can be expected to keep up with them. but anchoring on trust and credibility and not just darting to the latest tool is going to be a vital step for all schools. And supporting safe and structured adoption. And yeah, like what I said before, darting from tool to tool and having your teachers adopt a different tool in every classroom, it doesn't support safe and structured methodology. It doesn't support safeguarding. And it doesn't support effective use of teacher time to be teachers for children. Britannica Studio is responsible and a trustworthy companion for teachers that is not going to be chasing after the latest trend. It is going to be chasing after trust and support for our clients and for our teachers. And with that, I will hand back to Chris for our roundup. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christopher. So we got some great insights here from Christopher. First, we got the guiding principles from Christopher earlier today, and then he gave us the 5 steps to be able to still take control of even though we use AI, we are still able to take control of it. And lastly, of course, he has already presented Britannica Studio as well, and we got some questions during the demo itself. But we will address those questions very soon. But I just would like to just summarize the key takeaways here. So AI should reduce workload. However, it should not reduce the professional controls of the educators. And teachers, they remain the decision makers over here. AI is just basically a supporting tools. Teachers, they will still the decision makers. Trusted content improves confidence and quality. It builds confidence. Therefore, we showed you Britannica Studio that helps teachers to develop lesson plans using trusted content from Britannica School, and also workflow matters more than prompts. And Christopher has already shown just now. And Christopher, so earlier you've shown everyone Britannica Studio, and even though that it's just launched in January, however, we are gearing up to deliver more and better releases, basically more features in the next few months. So would you be able to share a little bit about this?
Absolutely, thank you. Yes, so we got confirmation last week about where we're going with this. So it's important to remember Studio has been on the market for, I think, exactly 5 weeks, which is not very long in terms of a digital resource of this complexity. But already the future is clearly defined and the roadmap is out before us. As I said, in Assess It, there are 4 more forms of assessment coming in pretty quick time. But there are 2 more tools coming, which are going to take this tool to be a really mighty force in education for supporting teachers. And it's going to be everything teachers need in one place. So the first one is a lesson planner proper. And there's lesson planners everywhere in the world, but this is going to be from our content team with the support of our internal teachers and experienced education staff who have developed this. And like all the other tools, it will sit on top of Britannica's database and only pull in verified and trusted content. So it will be capable of building up more dynamic lesson plans and meeting different teachers' understanding of lesson plans, whether that be whatever structure you want to use. The second tool is the presentation builder. And I think all teachers will know a presentation is often a critical part of teaching. So instead of having to take your content and what you've made within Studio and move it out to Sheets or to a PowerPoint, it will be there built in, ready to construct and present. So these 2 tools are going to make this one of the strongest available products on the market in the terms of supporting teachers tied up with data and information quality to really build a safe ecosystem in the AI and information era.
All right, thank you. So that sounds really exciting, especially the presentation builder. I really hope that we have something like that for our own work as well.
Mhm.
All right, so I think it's time for the Q&A, and we do have a lot of questions from the audience. Thank you so much for those of you who have shared your questions. So I think the first one is from Sheena Hutami. So, since you can ensure the clarity, can it help with the student essay of research and scientific report? Would you be able to answer that, Christopher?
In one word, absolutely. Yes, it can absolutely help with student essays, research, and scientific reports. What we say about Britannica, it's a one-stop shop for trusted information. And if you are seeing Britannica citations inside your students' work and research, you know it's trustworthy and it's credible, and they are performing good quality research, for their studies.
Great. Yeah. So, and I just would like to add, and Britannica School as well. Of course, it's a great tool for the student research itself. So, and the next one is as mentioned earlier, that the information from AI is not 100% correct. How can we ensure that the AI function in Britannica Studio will be reliable? That's a great question.
It's my favorite question. Um, at Britannica, our AI information is 101% credible all the time, every day. Somewhere in my head, I imagine that we have a group of people locked in a dark office somewhere, sat behind computers, constantly reading things. But the reality is, we have a very large and committed content moderation team, who's are subject matter experts, former educators, information managers who review everything that goes into the Britannica school, Britannica academic databases, to ensure it is free from bias, free from inaccuracy. So you know that whenever Britannica AI, whether it be Britannica Studio or Ask Britannica within Britannica School, whenever those tools give you a response, it is reliable and trustworthy and accurate.
Oh, great, thank you. Another one is IGCSE curriculum supported?
Yes, of course it is. IGCSE, obviously being based on the English curriculum, is one of the more easy alignments. So there are Britannica school functions that will do automatic aligning to it, but within Studio as well, yes, it will absolutely support any requirements from the IGCSE curriculums.
And a follow-up questions on the IGCSE curriculum is what subjects are supported and are the users teachers, not students, right?
So yes, we say all subjects are supported. Math theory, but not teaching formulaic and calculus maths. Um, so yeah, all that's all subjects with that caveat about mathematics. Although we are in Asia, so we are pushing them hard to get a more robust mathematics curriculum added to it. Regarding teachers and not students. So if we are talking about Britannica School, teachers and students can both have accounts. But in Britannica Studio, this is only a teacher resource. So only teachers can have accounts to Britannica Studio.
Great, thank you. And so maybe this question I can answer. Can the AI developed by Britannica Educations be used for free? Unfortunately not. So Britannica Studio is sold together with Britannica School. So if you're interested to know more about the how much it will cost for you, please feel free to get in touch with me. I will share my email address later at the end of the session. And are there any lesson plans provided to the teachers in Britannica Studio?
So there are not lesson plans per se built within Studio. What I will say is if you have Britannica School, you therefore have access to Teach Britannica. And Teach Britannica is a fantastic bank of not just lesson plans, but also worksheets, activity ideas, activity packs, and resources that can support teachers taking Britannica into the classroom. But in the future, the very short future, the Q2 future, I believe, Britannica Studio will be able to build you your lesson plans. And that will be a really robust and strong tool so that any Britannica resource can be turned into dynamic and flexible lesson plans within Studio very easily.
Great. Thank you. And I think there's a question over here from one of the attendees. How cool it can give feedback to the students' work. And I think there might be a misunderstanding over here that Britannica Studio is an LMS where students is enrolled into it and then can access those work. So can you please help to maybe address this misconception?
Yeah, so Britannica Studio is not designed to be giving students feedback. We don't bel Part of our kind of core beliefs with AI is teachers are responsible for giving the feedback. The human element of that's the most important, and we don't want AI to be taking that over. Britannica Studio is responsible for helping teachers to create the resources, create the work, create the tests, the summaries, but it's not any way, or it's not ever going to be a tool to provide students with feedback. That's a teacher's responsibility.
Great. Okay. So actually, we got 3 more minutes left over here for our sessions, and we still actually have a lot of a few more questions. But I let me just maybe choose one more question. So. In the search area, can we put scope of informations we want, for example, about house building act in Thailand or something specific in Asia, specific country? So I think it's asking whether Britannica Studio can generate lesson plans that are really specific, tailored to a specific country in Asia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the House Building Act Thailand might be very specific for the Britannica database, but yes, it's a very wide-ranging set of information it has access to. And like I showed you in the demonstration, I copied in bits of the Nepali curriculum, bits of the Philippine Matatag curriculum, and it is aligning Britannica resources to those with great accuracy. It has been tested on bits of the Thai national curriculum as well as the Indonesian. I have seen it. And yeah, so it's very much contexted for Asia, and will support whatever context or local reality it is that you want it to deal with.
All right, great. Okay, so I'm gonna move on over here. There's another question that asks, like, is there a free trial period? Yes, there is, and we are going to share the free trial with you. So if you're looking for a free trial of Britannica Studio, there's going to be a survey at the end of the webinar that you can fill out, and then we will be able to send you the free trial access. So, closing poll, after today's session, so how would you describe your sense of control when using AI? So, is it strengthened? Is it clarified? Is it unchanged? Are you seeking more? Basically. So, hosts, whenever you are ready to share the result, please feel free to share the result. After today's sessions, how would you describe your sense of control when using AI? Is it strengthened? I now have a clear workflow to maintain my professional lead. Clarified, I better understand where my judgment is irreplaceable. Unchanged, I was already confident in my ability to control the process. Or are you seeking more? All right. The host. Okay, thank you. Great. This is a great answer. Christopher, you have any thoughts on this?
Other than to say, well, thank you very much. I'm largely gratified by this. And yeah, obviously happy at Britannica that we are able to support teachers to clarify and strengthen their understanding, kind of the thought leadership and sharing our insights and the experiences of what our partners tell us is a vital tool for everyone. So thank you very much to everyone who came and listened and took something of value away.
Thank you. All right. So before we say goodbye, there's a couple more slides that I would like to share with you today. And today we talk about Britannica Studio specifically, but did you know that we actually have a lot more products in our portfolio? And so in case you are looking for other solutions for your teaching and learning, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be able to share with you more information about those products. Because this is for example, like you can see over here, if you have any specific problems, then you will be able to get in touch with us, and we will be able to share with you the solutions that we might think could work for you. And if you're interested in seeing how this workflow could work in your own subject area or school context, we will be more than happy to continue the conversations. Here's my email address. You can see on the screen on the left side, and feel free to get in touch with me. And after the webinar, there will be a survey where you are able to also answer some questions. And then otherwise, you can just reach out to me if you would like to get a free trial for Britannica Studio or any other products that we have. And so I just would like to let you know as well that next month on March 26th, we will have our next webinar, and then we're going to talk about Teachera. Well, today it's basically we're talking about Britannica Studio, and it's basically an AI tool. Teachera is actually a professional development for teachers to help teachers to understand AI better. Teachera is basically, it counts for your professional development credits as well. And so if you want to learn more about that, then please join us in our next webinar next month on March 26th. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Have a great day ahead, or maybe evening to some of you who are joining. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. My name is Christian Togondo Hutomo, and I'm representing Britannica team. I would like to say thank you for attending this session today. Goodbye, and see you again next time.